If you're writing your book in Google Docs, there are a few features that will make the process a lot easier, and most writers either aren't using them or are using them the wrong way. And one of these features will save you a lot of time. But let's start with organization, because this is usually where things start to feel messy. On the left side of your screen, you'll see Document tabs. If you don't see it, go to View, Expand Tabs, and Outline Sidebar. Once that opens, you'll see a panel on the left. At the top of that panel, click the plus icon to create a new tab. Now, here's how you actually use this for your book. Instead of putting everything into one long document, you can separate supporting sections that don't belong inside your main manuscript. So, for example, you might create tabs for additional resources you plan to include at the end, a glossary of terms, or bonus materials for your readers. This way, everything stays in one file, but your actual manuscript stays clean and focused. And that's important, especially if you plan to send your book to an editor, agent, or publishing company. They should only be looking at your manuscript, not all of your behind the scene notes. This keeps your manuscript clean, which is important when you're sharing it professionally. Now, once everything is organized, the next issue is keeping track of where you are in the writing or editing process. So inside your document, type the @ symbol. You'll see options like date, drop down, placeholder chip. The one I recommend using for your book is the drop down. So for example, once your book is written and you're reviewing it, you can place a drop down at the start of each chapter and label it something like in progress, edited, final. You can see an example of that here on the screen. This makes it really easy to track which chapters still need work and which ones are complete. And instead of trying to remember where you left off, you can just scan your document and see it immediately. Now, let's get back to that sidebar because this is where the structure really starts to matter. In that same sidebar, below your tabs, you'll see your outline. If you don't see anything there, it's because your headings aren't set up yet. The outline is based on your headings, so heading 1 for chapters and heading 2 for sections. Once those are in place, your entire book shows up here. Now, instead of scrolling through your document, you can click any section and jump directly to it. And this becomes really important once your document starts getting longer, because if your structure isn't set up correctly, this doesn't work. And now you're back to scrolling through pages and pages trying to find what you're looking for. And that's why structure matters. What you're seeing on the screen here is the exact format your manuscript should follow when you're sending it to editors, writing coaches, agents, or beta readers. If you don't already have this set up, I do have this exact template linked in the description. Now let's build on that structure. You'll notice that there's already a table of contents in this document. That's because it's built into the template I'm using. But if you don't have this set up, you would go to Insert, Page Elements, Table of Contents. Now, here's the important part. And just like with the document tabs, your headings need to be set up correctly or your table of contents won't work properly. But if your structure is set up the right way from the beginning, your table of contents will build itself, and all you have to do is click the refresh icon whenever you make changes. Now let's talk about drafts, because this is where people start overthinking things. Go to File, Version History, See Version History. Here, you'll see a timeline of your document. You can click through different versions and even restore an earlier version if you need to. So instead of saving multiple drafts, everything stays in one place. This is especially helpful when you're editing your book, because a lot of writers hesitate to make changes, especially bigger ones, because they're worried about losing what they originally wrote. But with version history, you can make changes freely, knowing you can always go back if something doesn't work. So it gives you a lot more flexibility in the editing process. Now, once your document is ready to be reviewed, this is how feedback typically happens. To leave a comment, highlight any text and click the comment icon or right-click and select comment. Now, this is mainly for editors, coaches, or beta readers. They can leave feedback directly in your document without changing your text. So instead of rewriting your content, they're guiding you on what needs to be improved. And this makes the editing process a lot more efficient because you can go through the comments one by one and make decisions instead of having your manuscript constantly change. Okay, finally, the last one is helpful when you feel stuck actually getting the words out. Go to Tools, voice typing, and a microphone will appear on the left side of your screen. Click it, and you can start speaking, and Google Docs will type for you. This is useful when you're stuck or overthinking what to write. Sometimes it's easier to talk through your ideas instead of trying to write everything perfectly. And this is especially helpful in early drafts because your goal isn't perfection, it's getting the content out. You can always go back and edit, but you need something to work with first. So this is a really simple way to keep momentum instead of getting stuck. So if you're using Google Docs to write your book, these features will make the process a lot more organized and easier to manage. And if you want to take this a step further, watch this next video where I'll walk you through how to structure your book because that's what makes everything else work.